Alright, starting off, this is going to be redoing our, I already started a little bit of the work. We're redoing our AC situation here. Went camping over the summer, last summer, and even though this AC is small AC that we put in here, we had a grate that goes over top of it. Already taken that off. Even though it worked, and kept the unit cold during the night, during the day it was still quite unbearable in here. So what we did is we got a bigger AC unit that won't fit this way. And the ultimate goal right now, and plans might change as we go through, is we're going to rip up this cabinet, take it completely out, all the way up to here. Okay. This is our storage that's accessible from the outside. And I'm going to put the bigger unit actually facing this way, facing towards me. And I'm going to put it on some drawer rollers, slides. So when it's in travel, we just slide it in. It stores it right here. But when we're parked, we need it, we're going to push it out and slide it out so the back end sticks out. I think one of the reasons it didn't work as well is because the unit in here, we had a little exhaust fan, but it got so warm in here it didn't give the unit enough time to cool down to be able to push out the cold air. I'm not an AC tech, but at least that's my theory. So I'm going to lose this space here. And I might build a box in the front of the tongue just to make up for the empty space the space I'm losing here. I'm going to build a false wall here and just a big enough hole for the back of the AC to slide out. So the first step is to rip this stuff up and get it all cleaned up, and then we'll be going from there. Okay, so we got the old cabinet out. It actually took a lot less time than normal. Now, what we had before, it was we had carpet coming here and around the cabinet, so we're going to have to get another piece of carpet to cover this up. We'll also have to paint these black to match the other the cabinets that we painted to do the final touch, but we'll do that last, or once we get the faux wall up. This hole, something I put in here. This is where the drain was for the other AC, so I'm going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the AC unit in here. Going to give a rough estimate on how big I'm going to need to, the hole's going to have to be, try to get a game plan. I'm going to have to build a support here that comes all the way out, or all the way in basically, on both sides. This way we can mount the track for the AC unit to slide out on. It's going to be like one of those, a drawer, and we'll show you when we do it. Alright, again, this is just sitting in place, but this is pretty much where it's going to go. Maybe a little bit further out, but we're going to build a faux wall, and it's going to come right around this area. So it's going to be pushed out a little bit, and it's going to be a little more level. This is what it's going to look like in the pushed out position. You're not going to be able to see any of that because the wall's going to be there. It's going to look nice and flush. And then on the outside, right now we've just got it propped up with a piece of wood, but this is basically what it's going to look like from the outside. Going to keep the cover on it just like that, keep the rain, and make it look a little bit nicer from the outside. And then it's going to be able to obviously drip just right outside the camper. Okay, plans have changed. The initial plan is to have the sliders that come in and out on, so the unit can slide. I've scratched that idea because after thinking about it, sleeping on it, I knew this was going to happen, but I knew that there would be tracks left inside the camper when the unit is pushed out, and that's one thing I didn't want. I was going to have them quite high to get up over the lip of the unit, and I didn't want to have to do anything to the outside. So I scratched the idea and I came up with a secondary plan, and I think it's going to work just as good. So what I've done is I have went ahead and I'm trying to recycling as much pieces as I have already. I went ahead and used the facing that was on the cabinet up here, and I cut the hole out the size of the back of the AC unit. I haven't tacked this up yet. I wanted to get it in place first, and I have built a platform for the back of the AC to sit on. Now, when in place, the majority of the weight is going to be right here on this 2x4, and this is going to hold the back end of it, obviously. And then the top, which I've slid out, will be on here and resting on top of the AC unit. When in motion, I'll just push it back in, sit it on the floor right there, and then this will slide up and fit in, and just tuck the wires in. And the door will shut completely. So in essence it's the same concept, but instead of having the track that slides in and out, I went ahead and made this hinging. So I just put some hinges. These are obviously, this is also the hinge that was on the lid at the top, so I'm recycling as much pieces as possible. And you're really not going to see it because it's going to be hidden. And on the inside here, I'm going to, after I get it all in place and everything is where I need it to be, I'm going to get some trim work to make it nice. I'm going to repaint it so it makes it all, you know, pretty nice and pretty. As much as it can be. Obviously, we're rigging this up instead of getting, you know, a correct ceiling AC and all that fun stuff, roof AC. We're rigging it up, but hopefully this will work just fine. Let's put it in place, see what it looks like. Okay, it's in place. This is the outside. I'll lift this up. That's what it looks like from the outside, and to do your measurements correctly, you'll see that there's no overhang. A lot of the weight is evenly distributed. I just used some eye screws to go into the sides and to find the brace up the wood up here, screw it in, use some wire I had laying around to help support it on both sides. I left the bottom open for two reasons. Number one, just so it can get as much ventilation as possible, and number two, I don't even know where the drain is here, but there's going to be a drain, the drip, and I didn't want it to, you know, soak on the wood, and the wood would rot and weaken, so I kept the bottom open for those two reasons. And you know, I was a little concerned because the exhaust on an AC unit is a little warm, and with this being basically right next to the front door and where we'd have the grill would be over here, that it might be warm, but instead of cutting a whole nother hole in the side of the camper, I thought this would be the best case scenario. And the inside is still have to finish it up. I purposely cut the hole that the AC unit would go into. I cut it big for this reason, because I don't want to be having to butter up the unit to get it in. But this is exactly what it's going to look like. I'm going to get some trim to reduce this size a little bit, and make it, you know, trimmed out all the way around. But this is what it looks like from the inside. Now I'm going to obviously trim it out, paint it. I'm going to take this wire and I'm actually going to cut it through and have it on the outside here. This way, probably going to shorten the cable. This way I can run a direct line, 120 volt line from here to the power outlet at the campsite, and not run it off the breaker inside the unit. So that's it. I think it works good. It looks good. And without having these big tracks, these bars that would pretty much come out to here on either side, now we can put something here, we can easily walk without tripping, things like that. So I think this works better. I wanted to make one final video of what the AC unit looks like in completion here. It's kind of dark in here, but you'll see that we put some of the trim around. We painted everything black to hide any flaws and also to match the rest of the camper. Put a strip of weather stripping that had a adhesive back right on the top to reduce this. It obviously has some give, so when you push it in place, if it hits, it's not a big deal. We've painted everything and trimmed it off, and it looks much better. We obviously cut another piece of carpet to go into the place where the cabinet came out, and the outside is the outside. I mean, it really honestly hasn't changed since the last video, but it seems to work really well, especially at night. In the daytime it keeps the camper dry and bearable. But that's it in a nutshell.